Hey, my name's Ryan, and welcome to the futuristic year of 2025. It truly feels like we're living in the future. The future's no longer in the future, it is right here, right now, and we are in the age of accelerated technology. Once you see this video, it'll probably be like 3 or 4 weeks into the year 2025, because I have a lot of content backlog that I'm trying to get out. Still trying to get all the training in the yard episodes and one other piece of content that I'm really excited about, but that's neither here nor there. As I go to complete my first dedicated workout for the new year, and that workout being dedicated towards a specific goal, I have something on my heart that I want to share that hopefully can help you gain some insight into goal setting for training. Now, I need to make one stipulation before I talk about what's on my heart in terms of goal setting, and that is, just because it's the new year doesn't necessarily mean that it is an opportune time for you to go pedal to the metal in terms of a physical training goal. You have to analyze your life. You have to ask yourself, am I in a more stable part of my life right now where the foreseeable future is somewhat predictable and my life stress is manageable? And you feel like you can put forth enough effort to increase your physicality. You have to be honest with yourself there. And although it's possible to still push yourself if you're in a really busy season of life, but it's not something that I would recommend doing all the time. It's definitely not all the time. Those cases need to be very rare, few and far between. But if you're in a season of life where, like I'm saying, it's predictable, you can manage your stress well, and you want to get after it, well then I encourage you to set a goal based upon what I'm about to say. And that is, you need to set a goal that is just outside the realm of what you believe you are physically capable of. So we were all taught like a goal setting process, and I think there's an acronym for it. What is it? Isn't it literally goal or real or something like that? You know what I'm talking about? Where like the goal needs to be realistic and it needs to be achievable. What is that? I don't know. Here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Like I said, set a goal that is just outside the realm of what you believe you are physically capable of, because that means that you are going to undertake the hero's journey. The hero's journey is a pretty general theme in mythology, and I think his name is Joseph Campbell, talks about it in his book. Maybe it's like 1,000 Faces, or maybe it's actually called A Hero's Journey, I'm not sure. But I came across this concept in the strength training manual by Mladen Jovinic, and then he put me on to Joseph Campbell, and he has some great literature. I definitely recommend reading it. But essentially what this journey is that in order for you to really gain something, or to gain some knowledge that is actually worth having, you have to take yourself to a place that you have never been before. And you are quite literally taking yourself to a place that you have never been before if you set a goal that you believe is just outside of your reach. And so I don't want to elaborate any more on what you might possibly find there. That's up for you to determine and for you to interpret from your own experience. But the caveat has to be that that goal is hard, and it is asking you to be something more than you currently are, something that you feel you might not even be able to obtain. Now, let me be clear. I said just outside the reach of what you think you're capable of. This goal definitely shouldn't be like objectively unobtainable, right? So for example, I think that I've squatted 620 or 635 completely raw in the past. And my goal right now is to squat 650 raw. ATG, as deep as I can go, fully raw, no belt, no sleeves, just a pair of weightlifting shoes. And honestly, I might even like 675 would be absolutely wild. And that just feels like it's maybe a little bit too far outside of what I think I'm physically capable of, but I don't know, we'll see. Definitely 650. I know that this would be extremely hard and it would take a lot of effort on my behalf. And it's something that I've never done before, and it makes me a little bit nervous to say. And so there's probably another element to this, is that like, the goal should give you some kind of like feeling where it's like, oh man, it's making you anxious, it's making you nervous, but also excited at the same time. Some of the strongest times I've ever been in the past is where I set a goal like this and I envisioned that number throughout the entire training process leading up to the point where I attempted to achieve that goal. It gives your training another element of engagement instead of you just kind of floating in the gym and training, which I've done in the past, right? When I'm maintaining and things like that and just kind of going through workouts, it gives you another level of aggressiveness and devotion that is going to take your training to the next level. It's a psychological advantage that you won't find in your programming, you won't find in periodization. The only place you're going to find that is in between the ears. So strongly recommend you search your life. You do some introspective thinking. You ask yourself if you're ready to take on a goal like that. And if you are, listen, try to go for it. I think it can only be beneficial, especially if you give it your all. So I'll see you in the gym. And I just literally posted Operation Ham Hocks to my Instagram today. 10 weeks of training devoted towards getting my legs as strong as they've ever been. And you're gonna see the very first session today. So I'll see you when we get into the gym.
All right, first thing I'm gonna do is get warmed up. 3 different exercises performed in like a circuit style fashion. I apologize in advance for the audio. I'm right by the speaker, and it's the only platform that's available right now. So when I'm coughing, I'll see if I can clean up the audio in the background. But when I'm not talking directly to you, I'll probably like just cue up some cool music, just something for us to listen to. So let's do the first round of that circuit. Nothing special about this warm-up. The only thing that's special about it is helping to facilitate a sweat. Sweat is the number one piece of criteria for a good strength workout. You're about to get after it and you start sweating. I would estimate that like if you had a control where you didn't do a warm-up that got you sweaty, and then the variable that you're looking at is sweatiness, right? You've flown yourself. It's a person who is sweaty starting their strength training workout would perform better, like 9 times out of 10. And I don't know if this is literally true, but I estimate that it is. Literally, the speed through which your nervous system is operating is increased when your core body temperature is increased. So like the efficiency and speed of the action potentials that are propagating throughout your brain, I guarantee, well, I can't say I guarantee because I don't know for sure, but I imagine that they're just quicker, faster, more efficient. All right, getting to depth jumps next. 2 sets of 3, getting into a full squat. Feel like I don't have room to get into that full squat, so I'm just gonna go a quarter. You're fine. All right, let's get started with the pause squats today. So that is the first squatting variation that we're doing in Operation Ham Hocks. We got 2 sets of 5. Gonna build to 7. That's 7 RPE, and keep that weight the same across both sets. I really want these to fly. I'm not really looking to get into any grindy reps today, so I'm gonna try to keep that in mind as I progress for my working sets. I would estimate that in total, my time spent warming up was like 12-ish minutes, so not too long at all. Doesn't take that long if you're moving, and especially moving intently with some jumps and things like that. So as I'm going through this warm-up right here, I think it would be an opportune time. What am I going to do? I'm doing this one more time. Let's talk about some of the constituents of the program that make up Operation Ham Hock. Just love that name, Operation Ham Hock. I don't think it's my best program name yet. I think the Brick House Protocol is number 1. Then I'll put Operation Ham Hock at 2. You take it in 3rd place would be Project Sturdy. Put on a 3 play date. But on my Instagram post, I mentioned like I said, some constituents that make up what this program is about, a programming perspective and more of a philosophical one. And the first thing I mentioned was that it's 3 days a week. And honestly, 3 days a week, I think is the sweet spot per training. I think it's just enough days to give you a really good stimulus. From a programming point of view, it's not that you're like having to piece days together because you can't figure out what's where. Everything just fits in seamlessly. From a convenience point of view, it's easy to get in 3 days a week. Easy in quotation marks for some people, right? Like if you're more dedicated to training, I guess. Easy to commit to from a psychological perspective, 3 days a week. And like, I feel like the less is more concept applies really well to training. For certain people, like for myself, it just feels like since there's less to do, I can apply more of myself to each session and I can be present for each session a little bit more. And then I programmed it in a way where there's also a fourth day, but that day is optional in that, like, if you miss out on that day, it's not like you're missing out on a huge stimulus. It's really just a light bodybuilding day where we're just trying to maintain muscle mass in our upper body. It's kind of like a bro day, you know what I'm saying? If you're saying second, no, I don't even know what set them on, just warm up. So the second constituent was 2 days of squatting, which, you know, I guess in like general strength and conditioning, that doesn't seem like a very high frequency. It's not. It's probably like a standard almost. But I built this program through the perspective of someone with a full-time job, a newborn son. Time is like, you know, a commodity right now. And so 2 times per week squatting from that perspective is relatively high, if not, you know, just the standard. That's being done on Monday and Friday. Right. Monday being back squats, high bar, Friday being front squats, and Wednesday being a maintenance of Olympic lifts and upper body pressing and pulling. And all 3 of those days I'm considering a high day in that, like, there's exercise there that are very demanding in nature, very intensive, not only on just the body itself, but also the nervous system. And so these 3 days we're getting after it. And I'm considering that Wednesday a maintenance day just because the total volume for Olympic lifting and pressing and pulling isn't a lot right now because it's really just 1 time a week, not including that optional fourth day. Is 2 days of mandatory cardio. Like, you have to do these sessions Tuesday, Thursday. You need to get out. You need to go for a ruck on Tuesday. And you need to go for, you're going to try to get like a bike and go biking on Thursday. 30 minutes. Then try to maintain, if not improve, your aerobic engine. So these sessions are going to be done in an intensity where I can maintain a conversation. The predominant way I want to supply energy to those sessions is mostly aerobic in nature. From an anecdotal point of view, taking care of that part of my health and fitness has been so enlightening in 2 ways. In one, how I've neglected that in the past. And 2, just in the way that I feel during my sessions, I feel more ready to go. In between sets, I feel like I recover faster. Feels better every after. One more warm-up set, and that'll give me a good gauge for what I want to do for my working sets. All right, going to be a little less chatty right now because I'm trying to lock in and body these upcoming sets right here. So, last warm-up. As much as I'd like to blow up 495 right now, I think I'm going to go 475. Try to keep it around at 7. I don't really want that last rep of each set to slow down all that much. So I think this is the call. Let's put that on. First dedicated squat set in 2025 towards getting my legs the strongest they've ever been. There we go. Going off of this visual here, and I would say that headset didn't slow it down all that much. Can you try 495 for this last one? Give myself a good rest, see if I can execute it at the same speed. Don't think, just squat. Alright, so a couple things here. I got 2 sets of everything else that you'll see today, but I'm only going to show you one. Number 1, just for efficiency, and 2, my battery's going to die. Go figure. Got some drop, catch, rear foot elevated squats. I'm just going to quickly pick my foot up, connect it back to the ground, try to get as deep as I can in that squat before I complete that rep. I haven't done these in a while, and I think they're gonna make me pretty sore from like trying to absorb that impulse. Gonna start with 40s, I think 2 sets of 6. Let's give it a shot. I don't know if I'll ever be truly comfortable with that left hamstring again. That's the one I've injured the most throughout my career, but still getting the job done. All right, moving on next to some leg curls. Doesn't matter if it's lying or seated, whichever one opens up first. Now normally I'd integrate like a Romanian deadlift or some sort of like more axial dependent lift right here, but I'm just gonna go curl. I just want to give my hamstrings a stimulus, and I want to be cognizant of axial fatigue, if that's even a thing, like loading the skeleton unnecessarily. Like I'm not just going to do an RDL for the sake of doing a barbell exercise. I want to potentially like lessen that and devote as much of that as I can towards squatting. So that's why I'm going with the curls right here, the leg curls. And I'm also excited to just do them. Like I don't ever like really emphasize them in a way where like I'm really grinding them out. So I'm gonna get after these 2 sets and really give the hamstrings a reason to grow. That was a really good session. Really happy with how that went.
And that's all I have to say about that.
I'll end this with a quick Q&A. Listen, I didn't speak on this in the beginning, but another one of my goals is to grow my YouTube, like, predominantly. I want that to be the social media platform through which I put forth the most effort and the best content. So just keep that in mind, and if you have any questions you want to ask, put them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. I got a question on one of the Training in the Yard videos from Nat Linderman, I believe. So Nat, I appreciate your question. And I was asked, what is my sports background? And I'll start with that. Mostly baseball is the only sport that I ever really committed myself to. I played from when I was in T-ball all the way up to my senior year in college. So I stopped playing when I was about 21. Was okay. I had a few really, really good years. Was an All-American my senior year. Was a pretty good pitcher my senior year of high school, and was recruited to go two-way in college, pitch and hit. But I got the yips, and that's a story for another time. Then Nat asked, getting into Olympic lifting, like, when did that happen? Well, I had always kind of been into Olympic lifting since high school because we did a lot of power cleans, but I didn't really start devoting training time towards that until I was like maybe like 26 or 27, when I was doing strength and conditioning for a middle school in Lamar County. And I had a weight room all to myself, and I had the space to, like, really commit myself to that. So I've been doing that for about 3 or 4 years now. What inspired me to get into that was, like, I was just done with powerlifting. I kind of got bored with it. It became really mundane, especially since I was doing this job at the time that required so much effort on my behalf, and I just couldn't squat and pull heavy anymore. So I just wanted to mix things up and try to learn a new skill and just become more well-rounded as a strength coach. Like, if I wanted to integrate that into other people's programs and coach those lifts, well, then I better be competent in them. So hope you have a great start to your 2025. Hope your training goes well. Hope you frickin' just get after it and achieve some goals that you didn't know you were capable of. Training is fun.